The Sharky tank is a collection of big egos, and it's a real question about how long can Neil Sharkey keep them all happy and working together. We just saw Sharky tank member Saul Esparza won the George Washington Memorial Parkway over the top rope battle royal and now has a shot against Devantes, the Haas of all Haas's. So there's already fractures in the Sharky tank. Is that going to carry over to this trio? The pectoral Poseidon, the man monster Rex Lawless, the Haas of all Haas's Devantes, and the newest member of the Sharky tank in the black tracksuit. That would be Dezmon King. Phil Brown, Brandon Scott, and the debuting Sincerely Tommy Seto. Phil Brown, the platinum icon, is a veteran, a pillar of VCW. But how well will he be able to work alongside Brandon Scott, who has turned over a new leaf in recent months? But there is no love lost between Phil Brown and Brandon Scott. And of course, the complete unknown is this man here in the fringe. Sincerely, Tommy Seto says he is a curator of wrestling art, wants to create a lasting impression on the business the same way as a Dali or a Picasso might, only the ring is his canvas and his body is his brushstroke. So on one side, we've got a team that really has no business getting along, but seems to. And on the other, we have a team that should be a well-oiled machine, but we've already seen may need to go in for an oil change in the Sharky tank. So there's a lot of questions to be answered. We saw a similar match last month. It was Phil Brown leading Dirty Money and his protege Irvin Legend against the Sharky tank. The common denominator here will be
first, standing to my left, accompanied by the manager of champions, Neil Sharkey, at a total combined weight of 725 pounds, Rex Lawless, Dezmon King, and the BCW champion, the host of all hosses, Devantes. And their opponents, at a total combined weight of 675 pounds, the team of Tommy Seto, Mr. Brandon Scott, and the partner icon, Phil Brown.
the common denominator has been a years-long hostilities between Phil Brown and Neil Sharkey. Every time it looks like either man has moved on with their life, somehow, some way, this rears its ugly head. The Sharky tank has already been successful tonight. For good or for ill, Saul Esparza was the winner of the George Washington Memorial Parkway Battle Royal. He has a date against Devantes coming up in December at Tidings of Destruction. And it'll be Dezmon King, the tank, going up against Sincerely Tommy Seto. This is our first chance to see Tommy Seto in action. Brandon, what are your first thoughts about the Sincere one?
My first thoughts are it's a bold move for him to start this match. It shows the confidence that Brandon Scott and Phil Brown have in him to put him in there to start this match off against three of the strongest and most terrifying men in VCW.
It is a good strategy, though. Seto is the unknown. He is the member of the team the Sharky tank at least prepare for, and we're seeing that as he gets the drop on Dezmon King.
That's absolutely true. You may hope you can get a quick victory in there, get the unknown, knock them on their heels, get the 1, 2, 3, and get out of here.
Pure power. Dezmon King recently turning his back on the fans, on his friends, to join with Neil Sharkey. And
here's the thing, though, Jason. it's hard to say it hasn't been very successful for his career.
No, that's true. It's been very effective for Dezmon King. Is that going to continue this evening here as we make our debut in Northern Virginia?
I mean, certainly the Sharky tank has the greater tag team cohesion. These three men have been together for months and months, whereas this is the first time Seto, Scott, and Brown have tagged together.
Look at Seto. One step ahead of the tank of the, well, the tank of the tank, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so. And now the hoss of all hosses in the ring, along with Mr. Xcellence, Brandon Scott.
You know, Brandon Scott has recently found himself in the doghouse here at VCW after letting down our Director of Operations, Jerry Stefanitsis, a fickle master, as you well know.
Yes, indeed. I prefer not to speak about that. It's best for everyone. But yes, Mr. Xcellence has found himself in not a great position and has found the fans embracing him a little more recently. Though right now, I do not envy him being in there with Devantes.
Well, a new attitude for Brandon Scott, maybe a bit humbled after having been on the receiving end of a hit job by our tag team champions. And you can do a lot of things in life, but trying to get the leverage on Devantes is not one of them.
Yeah, Devantes, I mean, has incredible strength and that super low center of gravity, but eventually something like that will even work.
The Haas of all Haas's, Devantes is the current U.S. Liberty champion, and when the Haas of all Haas's feels maybe a bit out of his depth, you call in a pectoral Poseidon.
Look, Rex Lawless has only been here in VCW for a few months, but has made a stunning impact. I mean, the power, not even power, the devastation he has brought here in VCW is unlike anything I've ever seen before.
He has become the most dominant monster in VCW in short order, eliminating 6 men in the Liberty Lottery, defeating Irvin Legend in literal minutes, and Brandon Scott trying to do the impossible.
The heart is impressive, but it's just not going to happen, Brandon. It's all you're doing is hurting yourself and your team by trying to slam Rex Lawless right now.
Rex Lawless always trying to prove one point in the ring, and that is size matters.
And you know what? He proves that very effectively. I mean, his dominance and his record speak for themselves. And if I was any champion in VCW, I'd be watching where Rex Lawless is at all times.
If there's anyone on this sort of ragtag team that has the stature and experience to go toe-to-toe with Lawless, it's this man, the platinum icon, Phil Brown.
Phil Brown is just the heart and soul of ECW and is a powerhouse. Had a phenomenal match with Rex Lawless, with Big AC a few months ago. So we've seen him go toe-to-toe with big men. Rex Lawless, though, a whole different kind. This is going to be something to see.
The running of the bulls. You don't have to go to Spain. All you have to do is come to Northern Virginia, Alexandria, to be specific.
And just two brick walls running into each other. Just no movement by either man. Oh, Lawless knocked back a step there. Phil getting the better of that one.
I hope you're a carnivore, because all we're serving up tonight is beef.
And Phil taking that well. The question is, which of these men is going to throw something first? And it's Rex Lawless. Decides he's had enough and throws a knee into the stomach of Phil Brown.
The size. Rex Lawless is making lifting a 300-pound man look effortless, and so is Phil Brown.
Both men perhaps a little too fresh for that, but showing they can do it.
Phil Brown, unfortunately stuck in shark-infested waters at the moment.
It's important, and referee Jared Hartman's got his hands full in this match. Phil Brown, though, breaks out of that corner. And here comes Devantes in to get him some of Phil Brown.
No love lost whatsoever between Devantes and Phil Brown, and here comes the cavalry.
And here we go, things have broken down this match, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone's in the ring once. Referee has lost control.
This is meant to be one-on-one at a time. But with the Sharky tank so quick to try and take advantage of a numbers game, this team, this unlikely trio of Seto, Scott, and Brown, not waiting to get taken advantage of.
This is where Neil Sharky's expertise comes in. Regather the troops, calm them down, make a plan, and make it happen. In
so many ways, this is a handicap match simply because of the presence of Neil Sharky, and now dangerous situation on the outside of the ring.
Like we saw over there, Devantes sending Phil Brown repeatedly into the ring post. Rex Lawless running into it, missing Brandon Scott. Just bodies everywhere, folks. We can't keep track of what's going on out here.
And once again, Brandon Scott trying for that body slam and instead gets squashed.
Yeah, that's how that weight distribution is always going to go, I think.
This is after Rex Lawless' head hit the steel. He may be about to win.
I think it's just pure killer instinct by Rex Lawless. He is just a machine who is there to destroy.
I don't think Rex Lawless is human. And he's getting a pump in.
I mean, just showing no respect, but you know what? He's being dominant right now. I mean, it's hard to fault it.
Well, his body is a temple, and he is inviting us all to pray along with him.
I think Brandon Scott may be the one praying right now. He is in a bad way in this corner, and Dezmon King can deliver just as much punishment as Lawless.
The total unit taking it to Mr. Xcellence. Brandon Scott has a case to be. Oh, wait! Great lateral press. Great urgency by Dezmon King, and Brandon Scott has a case to be made that he can be considered one of, if not the greatest VCW champion in history. So if Dezmon King is able to, I'd say, upset Brandon Scott in this match, that's a huge feather in the cap.
It absolutely is, and we've seen Dezmon King come so close on so many occasions to greatness. He's looking for that signature victory, but Devantes may get it here. Just two.
So close for Devantes, who is fuming still over not walking out as Haas 2 belts in that title versus title match. Or I should say, sorry, that VCW title match against the Boar.
Yeah, that match unfortunately ended when Joe Keys interjected himself, we'll say, in that match, leading to tonight's VCW Virginia Heavyweight Championship match. But Devantes, I think, is going to demand retribution against whoever wins that match because he feels like he still hasn't gotten his fair share.
For sure, Devantes feels slighted by both the Boar and Joe Keys. That is going to be one of our two big main events tonight. No water in the pool for the Moon Shooter, Dezmon King.
And there, a desperation tag. Seto back in the ring. King doesn't make the tag. He may regret that decision.
Look at the detail to the craft by Tommy Seto.
And a great feint with that first kick to catch the second in the back of the head.
Mr. Charisma himself taking it to Dezmon King. What an incredible debut it would be. And appreciate the face, no frustration by Tommy Seto. Appreciating how close he was to getting the win. That's the kind of attitude you want to see in a competitor.
Absolutely, and it's the sort of thing that you don't expect out of someone in their first match under the bright lights, but he is showing that, although the grabbing of the foot by Devantes and that clothesline by Dezmon King, and just like that, the Sharky takes back in control.
Power on display. No one does it better than Dezmon King.
I disagree slightly. There are maybe two people who do it better. They're his teammates, Devantes and Rex Lawless.
I think that the size goes to Lawless. Wait, Dezmon King! But pound for pound, who can argue that Dezmon King may be the strongest man
that
in
is very
VCW?
Fair. But I think we can both agree on this. This tag team here, these three men, are probably the most powerful, the most terrifying six-man tag team you can imagine. Or sorry, three men you can imagine.
Yeah, this trio weighs more than a Buick. Spinning slam by Rex Lawless, the pectoral Poseidon, for the first time beginning to show some frustration. We have an incredible capacity crowd here for our debut here in Alexandria. Truly standing room only, over 700 people in the building on hand.
And it has been a great night so far, and this match is really a proving ground for everyone involved, especially Tommy Seto in his first appearance. But everyone in this match has something to prove, especially the opponents of the Sharky Tank.
The bomb to Seto, and now the Sharky Tank looking to take the victory, but Phil Brown just casually saying, nah, not on my watch. We have seen division in the Sharky Tank this evening, but thankfully it does not appear to infect or infest this particular trio, all working very well together.
I would say we've seen a person potentially go into business for themselves, but...
Well, what happens when one piece of bread in your loaf starts to get moldy?
Well, I mean, it's fair, but I'm just saying we haven't seen it so far. So far, the rest of Sharky Tank's come here, and also all that Saul Spar said was for Neil to think about it, and Neil said the same thing. there's a lot of time until Tidings of Destruction. We don't know what's going to happen.
Lateral press.
Sharky clicking on, hitting on all cylinders.
Only 2 for Dezmon King, but it's been a long time since we've seen Phil Brown or Brandon Scott legally enter this match. That does not bode well for that team.
It does, but although if they can get in there, though, they're very fresh. They're ready to go if Seto can just get over there and make that tag.
The size discrepancy is obvious between Tommy Seto and Rex Lawless. No one has made the impact that Rex Lawless has in a short amount of time here at VCW.
No, the sky's the limit for Lawless. It's just that simple. Whatever he wants to do.
Well, sure, the sky's the limit because he can reach the sky.
That's fair. Although a miscalculation there. Seto possibly getting a tag here, but Lawless is between him and his corner. That's a large man to get past to get to that tag.
Yeah, big blockade, but both men deciding maybe discretion, the better part of valor. Can Seto make the tag? Devantes is legal. And big Phil Brown looking to give some heavy hands.
Phil's had a lot of time to stand and think about this, and he is making it happen right now.
You know what they say the best thing to do if you ever find yourself in the midst of a shark attack, right?
What's that?
Punch it in the nose. That's real, and obviously Phil Brown got the memo.
I would say so. He's hitting all 3 of these men as hard as he can. All 3 of them on jelly legs right now, and Phil Brown firmly in control.
Phil Brown not letting up. Tommy Seto has yet to get to his feet. A lion in wait is Phil Brown. 20 years of vet and can still go with the new generation.
No matter how big you are, a kick to the head's going to put you down.
And Phil Brown almost scoring a win over the current U.S. Liberty champion. That is something we haven't addressed. While this is not officially any kind of #1 contendership match, we know Saul Esparza gets a shot. If you score a win over a champion, big spear! The gore!
I've never, that is very rare for someone to kick out of Devantes' spear.
Inordinately rare.
And yet, to your point, if someone can pin Devantes here, you gotta believe that puts them in contention for.
They gotta go to the top of the line, right?
I mean, I think Esparza is the only other person who's got an argument besides them.
Tommy Seto out the back. Calico to Devantes.
Seto needs to turn around though.
And now lifting to failure. Can he do it? He does. And Tommy Seto lifted to failure, center ring, Brandon.
Seto is about out cold here. Oh, but there's Phil Brown. And that super kick put so many men down, and Dezmon King's just the latest one.
May have been a hole in that man's chest. Big bomb to Phil Brown, and now Brandon Scott sneaking in, the crafty veteran.
Scott looking for it. What is he setting up for here? He's going for it. He got him up!
And the big slam the 3rd time is the charm.
But Brandon Scott better look around.
Devantes looking for that TKO. Brandon Scott behind. Leapfrogs the spear and slice of excellence. Brandon Scott gets it done.
The winners, the team of Tommy Seto, Phil Brown, and Brandon Scott.
The hits just keep coming for the Sharky tank, and Devantes in particular, because we know that Saul Esparza has a date with Devantes, but you gotta imagine after this, Brandon Scott is gonna be looking for a title shot with whoever walks out with the title between those 2 men.
Yeah, you gotta believe that no one's as eager to get out of Northern Virginia as the Sharky tank is. A rough night for them. They need to recalibrate, reconvene, whatever they need to do before our next event on December 2nd, because they had a very bad night and Saul Esparza is waiting. And like you said, gotta believe Brandon Scott has put himself firmly in line as well.
Hometown boy, DMV native Tommy Seto making a big debut and immediate impact at VCW. Phil Brown.
Well, hang on a second. Where was the pushing and shoving happening in the Sharky tank over there?